everyone, I'm the Sports Wiz 101, and today I'll be giving you my predictions for week 1 of the NFL season. So we'll predict all these games set to take place this week as football finally returns to our screens this week. And without any further ado, let's get started in the AFC. We've got my Kansas City Chiefs. They're going to Brazil to start the season to take on the LA Chargers, which this is technically a Chargers home game. And I'm sure if you have seen my prediction videos, I still believe that the Chiefs are going to win the West. And I think this game acts as sort of a reminder as to who the heck the Chiefs are. Now, granted, I'm not expecting the Chargers to make it easy by any means. But I also know the Chiefs will be ready. You cannot bet against this Chiefs team coached by Andy Reid when they have time to prepare. Of course, they've had a few months to prepare for the Chargers. You just can't bet against them. I'm taking Kansas City to win this one. Now, by the way, on Friday night, we go over to the Sunday slate. It's the Steelers and the Jets going at it in the Meadowlands. It'll be Aaron Rodgers' first start with the Steelers, of course, taking on his former team, the New York Jets. Jets, of course, having their starting quarterback, Justin Fields, facing his former team in the Steelers as well. Here, I'm going to take Pittsburgh. I feel like the stars of the Steelers are more likely to come out and play in this one than the stars of the Jets. I think the Steelers make a bit of a statement at the Jets' expense as they win it. Next, we have the Dolphins and the Colts going at it. This one in Indy. Miami, I'd imagine we see the Dolphins at their best here. First of all, weather should be nice seeing as it's week 1, but even then it doesn't really matter because Indy's a dome team. So, Miami is going to not have much hindrance from the atmosphere. And anyway, that being said, you also have to think about what's going to go on the defensive side for Miami. They have a secondary that you should be able to throw it on. But I don't know if the Colts are in the best position to succeed, even with Daniel Jones now being their starting quarterback. I'll take Miami to win this in a slight upset. Cincinnati and Cleveland will go at it in Cleveland, and this will be my upset of the week. I'll take the Browns to get the win over the Bengals. The Browns, I don't think they're going to be better than the Bengals this year, but what I do know is that we have this Bengals team that under Zach Taylor have traditionally struggled to start the season. And they've also struggled against the Cleveland Browns. Got that double whammy coming in. I think Kevin Stefanski will have himself a good game plan, and I'll take Cleveland to get the shocking win in week 1. Raiders-Patriots will go at it in Foxborough. This is, of course, the first game of the Mike Vrabel era for the Patriots. Also the first game of the Pete Carroll era for the Raiders. That being said, I'm in part going to rely on the fact that the Raiders tend to struggle when they go to the East Coast. I do think they can at least keep it close in this matchup with New England, but I think this new era for the Patriots, it's off to a win. Next up, it's the Titans and the Broncos going at in Denver. This is going to be my lock of the week. I'll take the Broncos to win it. And a lot of it has to do with the defensive side of the ball. Where the Titans, they're going to be starting Cam Ward, who was not that good in the preseason. And now he's going to be taking on a defense that I believe will have a chance to be the best defense in all of football. I think it's going to be a rough time to beat Cam Ward. Throw in the altitude that Denver will have as well. I don't think he's going to perform well at all. Now, I don't think the Titans' defense is that big of a joke, but I still think Denver should be able to move the ball fairly well against them, and at least well enough that they'll come away with an easy win. That takes us to the Sunday night game, the Ravens and the Bills. Rematch of the divisional round last year. We saw that end when the Ravens went for 2. They would have had it if Mark Andrews hadn't dropped the pass. And instead, they go on to lose yet another playoff game in this Lamar Jackson era. Now here, I think you're going to see a better version of the Ravens than we saw back in that divisional round game. And yeah, a lot of it is the fact that the Ravens in the regular season, you don't want to really see the Ravens in the regular season, I would say. They're definitely one of the better regular season teams, and I think they get this season started off right by headed in to Orchard Park and taking down the Buffalo Bills. Next, we have the Panthers and the Jags. Battle of the Cats. Here, I think Jacksonville gets off to a good start here. Carolina's defense doesn't really scare me, and I think the Jacksonville offense is going to have themselves a good game, leading to a Jacksonville victory. Texans and Rams will go at it in the late afternoon slot. Here, Matthew Stafford, he's been dealing with that back injury. Sounds like he should be able to go. That being said, I'm just not sure I trust the Texans' offensive line that much. It was a big reason why they went home in the divisional round last year. I don't know if they went out and made enough moves to fix that. In fact, I think you could probably more easily make the argument that we should expect it to get worse. I think the Rams will be ready to take advantage of that, and it's going to lead to an LA victory. Moving on. Thursday Night Football. This will be the game to kick off our season. It's the Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles in NFC East rivalry. Now, this is a matchup that, of course, looked a bit more appealing before the Micah Parsons trade. But after the Micah Parsons trade, I'll be honest, I almost went with this for the lock of the week. Because I just don't think that Cowboys defense is going to be that good without Micah Parsons. And as a result, I think Philly is going to be able to move the ball at will. And they are going to dominate on opening night. Moving on, it's the Cardinals and the Saints. Two teams that I believe are, I would at least put on different tiers in the NFL. Cardinals I see as more of a mediocre team, whereas the Saints I see as one of the worst teams in football. And a lot of that mediocreness versus worst team deal has to do with the quarterback situations. Of course, you have Kyler Murray for the Cardinals. He is inconsistent at best. Meanwhile, you have the Saints, who and they have Rattler as the starting quarterback. And he struggled mightily last season. I feel like he might struggle mightily again this season. So here I'm going to take the better quarterback, and that it's Kyler Murray's Arizona Cardinals. I'll take Arizona for the win. Now this next one, to me, one of the toughest ones to pick. It's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Atlanta Falcons going at it in Atlanta. Of course, Tampa Bay going through some injuries. Chris Godwin going to be out for the foreseeable future as he's still recovering. Of course, you have other injuries on there. And you also have Mike Evans going through just getting older, you know? So I guess the question then is, do the Buccaneers continue to be as effective going to Mike Evans? I think the answer to that is yes. Now, I do think Atlanta is going to put up a bit of a fight on the other side of the ball. But with Michael Penix Jr., I don't think he's quite good enough to go blow for blow with Baker Mayfield quite yet. So that's why I got Tampa Bay coming out on top. Giants and Commanders. Now, a lot of people would tell you that Washington is clearly the better team, but remember, divisional round matchup, that doesn't matter all that much, and especially doesn't matter in this Giants-Commanders rivalry, because it feels like no matter who's supposed to be the good team, who's supposed to be the bad team, this rivalry in particular seems to always put together some close games, maybe some ugly games, but some close games nonetheless. In the end, I do think the Commanders win this one. It will be a close one, but I do think Jaden Daniels and the Commanders are able to pull away at the end. Niners and Seahawks. This was another difficult one for me to pick. Both these teams with obvious issues on the offensive side of the ball, in my view. The 49ers, it is the receivers. With the Seahawks, it is the offensive line going against a Niners defense, which I don't think it's going to be quite as good as it's been in years past, but still going to be a very dangerous defense. In the end, I'm going to go with Seattle, partly because of that home field advantage. I think that's the difference here. Playing in one of the loudest, in fact, the second loudest stadium in the NFL takes a toll on the 49ers and allows Seattle to come out with a win. Alright, and then we got a big one. Lions and Packers. This will be in the late afternoon slot on CBS. And this could go towards deciding who wins this NFC North division. And if you saw my playoff predictions, you know, I think that when these two teams are at 100%, I believe that the Packers are the better team. However, I don't think the Packers are the better team as of today, especially with Micah Parsons dealing with an injury. He's probably going to play, but I don't think he's going to be quite fully up to speed in the Packers system. I think Detroit takes advantage of that, and I think the Lions go in the Lambeau and get a win. And then you have the other two NFC North teams going at on Monday Night Football. It's the Vikings and the Bears. First game of the J.J. McCarthy era for the Vikings. First game of the Ben Johnson era for the Chicago Bears. And personally, I think this could be a bit of a coming out party for Ben Johnson and the Bears. As they show what they're made of, they show some greatness on the offensive side of the ball, and I do believe the Bears come away with the win here. But there you go, there's my predictions for week 1 of the NFL season. If you like this, please like and subscribe for more to come in the following weeks. I've been Sports Wiz 101, and I will see you all later.